Well, people, that stream just didn't go very well. I don't know why it decided to shut off. It's so annoying when that happens, and then you can't do anything about, if you. I like to run it on the computer because it shows up more. Hey, Mario. It's all going wrong, Mario. I decided to finish the stream earlier because I can't get it up on the computer. It just doesn't want to do it. And if I can't see, yeah, I know, it suddenly shut off and I couldn't get it back. All it kept coming back to was webcam stuff. So I don't know. Something around here isn't doing what it is asked to do. I'm really sorry about that because, I was going to sort of go on a bit with that little journey I was having. Do you reckon it's Mesmer? It's either Esmer or those bloody Albanorics. However much I say I think they've got lovely faces, I still think they're fiddling about with me behind my back. Honestly. I'm just... So, I thought, yeah, I thought I would just come on here and, well, I don't really know. I thought I'd just come on here. I'm just blinking well fed up with everything going skywards. So, when things don't want to do what you want, it is so frustrating, aggravating, and everything, isn't it? So, I don't know whether I should do some poetry or what. Should we have a listen to something? But it obviously seems like then if I haven't got it up running as I'm streaming the television and the computer running together, then I don't seem to, I'm not sure if I'm getting through or whether it's just running on the television and they're going to sort of save it up and then all of a sudden pop it up on the YouTube later, which is what I don't want. Oh, man. Anyway. Oh. I'm getting my poetry bits out. But to be quite honest, I'm not sure if there's much that I haven't read. So, I've read about families, I've read about the ginger cat. I haven't read that one. I've read about the kite and the seasons and getting old. Lost Teddy in the car ride. Gosh, it's surprising how many I've got through. The toys, visiting grandma, the Xmas visits, and the butterfly ball. Oh, and there's that one, but I don't think I want. I'm brave to pick them up and call them. Yeah, I don't think there's one there. I'm just reading it through. I gave some of these things to a man I know who's interested in poetry, and I gave him this particular one, and he didn't like it at all. He said it wasn't very good. Which I said to him, right, that's why I gave you to read some of it, because I want comments on what is good and what is not. But when I read this again, I mean, I like it. It's quite graphic, really. Maybe that's why he didn't like it. Right, I'm not sure. I think I've read that. Read about the seasons. No. I read about that one. I read about meeting Annabel Andrews. Hey, Wills. Yeah, you after listening. The blinking stream went off and I couldn't get it back. So I've decided to come and do this, either read some poetry or either just chat about something or nothing, just to pass an hour or so. I'm looking through my book here, and you know what? I think I've read a fair amount. A lot of this is repeats. Don't know why I've got more than one copy of stuff. Oh, that's about the volcano in Iceland. I can remember that happening. Oh, a couple that I've sort of picked up that I haven't read are really quite, no, not very light-hearted. But honestly, Wills, I just feel that, you know, if it's going to go wrong, I hope it's all going to go wrong in one go. I've been seriously thinking about getting a laptop, and instead of trying to run anything on my computer, because I'm thinking maybe my computer is stuffed up with a load of rubbish, because I noticed it was running a bit slow the other night. I was wondering whether to get a laptop and just run the YouTube streams on that. I need to look and see how much. Yeah, there's another one there. I've got this a bit. Okay, I'm going to read you this one. This is a song I used to hear, and I used to listen to quite a lot. I think it was in Mike Oldfield's repertoire. But I wrote this afterwards that was very much as to what, you know, what the song was. So again, it's not terribly bright and cheerful. Did you need one? Yeah. Could I write about the computer shutting? No, there might be a few expletives in that might not be very good for anybody to hear. I might do. I might do. It's all nice to be given some ideas. I will read you this one, like I say, because this is about a song I used to like. I quite like Mike Oldfield stuff. He was taken away in a moment of rage, caught in the middle of anger and fight. destroying my life, my reason to live, sending his soul on spectral flight, leaving his body bloody and cold, neon street light shining down, reflecting the violence, anger, and rage, the end of a night in town. Anger had surfaced, no one backing down, protagonist pushing the argument through, hurtling so fast to a destructive end, pushing and punching bodies askew. My innocent soulmate, just walking home. What did he think as he saw the affray? Why didn't he cross to the other side, leave them all to it, and go on his way? We will never know what happened that night as he lay dying, all arguments past. Realization slowly confirms what they see, the clang of a knife dropped from a hand unclasped. Perched on the lamp post, a raven so black solemnly looks at the result of the night. A knife and a man in the street, cold and dark, the only creature on earth who saw hectic flight. Scattering like rats from a sinking ship, falling over each other to get clean away. In seconds they are left. They have left, and the only one there's a raven, a knife, and a man gone away. Yeah. And that is very roughly the coming from a song. Okay. There's one more I wrote last night. I've got it on the phone because it's in the computer. Okay. Let's see if we can find it without a lot of fiddle fuss. Come on, where are we? Notes. Why is it I can never find anything easily on my phone? Come on, where are you? It's rubbish, honestly. What? Oh. I think I'm having a bad couple of days. What's hidden? I don't want anything hidden. Oh, man. Come on. Where's notes? Let's look for notes. There we go. So, let's see if what I wrote last night is on here. Yeah. This is a bit more light-hearted. I've put a title up of School's Out for Summer. Now then, before I read this, I've just got to say, I went to bed last night and 2 hours later, I'm still lying there awake. And all of a sudden, all this stuff comes into my mind, and it's just running through, and everything seems to be really gelling together. And I'm thinking, I've got to get up and put this down before I get up in the morning and I will have forgotten it. So I was writing this at 4 o'clock this morning. Holidays here, what should we do? I know, said Mother, let's go to the zoo. So we packed some snacks to eat on the way, because we went by train as it's a few miles away. We came out of the station and walked down the road. Freddie in front hopping around like a toad, and we saw the zoo sign further down. Excitement made Freddie act like a clown, till Mother said, just take it steady, we're nearly there, so be ready to wait in the queue until we get through. It's a good job Mother knows what to do. So now we're standing, wondering what or which way shall we go first. Freddie's excited, starts again, jumping around fit to burst. We looked at the signs, read what they said. It says lions and tigers this way, Right to the hippos, left for the bears. Oh, and they're feeding the sea lions today. Let's go and see that, Mother says. I'm sure that is something to see. So we find a seat to sit and watch the sea lions coming out for their tea. Only it's lunchtime, really, but they don't know. It's just all the same to them. The dolphins arrive, start jumping and causing mayhem. We get a bit splashed, but it's such a great show. We don't see this very often, you know. After that, we get back on the path. What a surprise! They're right along by us. What's right before our eyes? All the penguins are out for a walk. Their keeper keeps them in line. But it looks very much they know what to do. They do it most of the time. Next, we are standing in front of the monkeys. I think they like us all there. Some of them eating bananas, some just look and stare. You know there are different kinds like them, some bigger, some smaller, some little, some taller. There are apes and baboons, orangutans, gorillas, brings into mind that film of Godzilla. The lions are next, fierce looking, and that is so much bigger than our pet cat. The tigers look great in their orange and black, stripes so perfect there's nothing they lack. We saw llamas and camels, think they got the hump. Either one or two had a back with a lump. We're told that's for water, a great storage device, as they live in hot, dry sands where there is no ice to keep cool, so they just do their own thing. It's like water is there, like a mountain spring. The fishes were next, all in a covered place. Massive big fish tanks where you could put your face against the glass because they don't seem to mind people squishing their faces to see if they find any that might be like they have at home. But I reckon that one's no one will own. We came out of there and sat on a bench to eat our sandwiches. That was a wrench as Freddie started, as Freddie wanted mine, started grabbing, trying frustratingly at nabbing. All the time I'm trying to eat. Stood up and started stamping his feet. Behave, said Mother, or we will just go home. That calmed him down, and he sat down with a moan. After that, we decided to look at some birds. The aviary was full of flutter. Birds of all sorts flying and chirping, bird sounds and songs no human can utter. If you have a parrot, do you know what you do? You can teach them to talk, just like you. I think minor birds do that too. Well, we saw hippos so large, as big as a house. Elephants bigger, it's said. They're afraid of a mouse. Not sure that's true. Maybe it's just bunk. I like the way they get water in their trunk, and then they splash it all over. That's a nutty way to shower. We were just enjoying that when Mother said, look at the hour. If we want to see more, we can't hang about. Let's go, giraffes, was Freddie's shout. So we found the giraffes with necks so long. They have a graceful gait as they walk along. We then went and saw the bears, brown and white. Wouldn't like to come face to face. What a fright. I'm sure that we missed some, as the zoo is so large, but Mother said that's good value for what they charge. We've seen so many animals from countries far and wide. Now, when you go back to school, you can stand up with pride and tell all your classmates what you did in the holiday. Make it sound so interesting. Maybe they'll do it one day. But for now, it's getting late. The sun's gone to bed, and I think it's now time for you two to get your head down on the pillow and dream a dream of all those animals you have seen. And that's what I thought of last night at 4 o'clock in the morning. That was quite long, actually, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Do you know how funny you say that, Mario? Because I was thinking exactly the same thing. I mean, when you're youngsters, you like to go and see the animals, and for one side of it, I can say that if we didn't have the zoos, there are animals that are so interesting that we would never see. because they're all in far off countries. But to be quite honest, I don't like the idea of animals being caged up. I mean, they should be free, shouldn't they? And there was something on our news time some years ago back now where a particular zoo, and I think it's closed down now, was fairly near to us, and they had an elephant there, and all it was doing was walking backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards, and they said that it was because it was so stressed out. And they should have let it go. They should have took it back and let it go. Oh yeah, they would have orca whales and aquariums. See, I mean, they're massive. They're big, aren't they? And I mean, however big you can build an aquarium for a large fish, it's still not free out in the sea, is it? Yeah, yeah. Yes, if we don't need money, yeah. Keep something like that pent up. Yeah, it's not nice. It is not nice, is it? I think um, another thing. And now I think that came up. Was I looking for something? I was just flicking through some stuff last night on the computer, and it came up about circuses. And I mean, it's years and years since I've been to a circus. But if I'm right in what I thought I read, that they don't use animals anymore in the circus. Hmm. Ah, there you go, Wills. Yeah. Yeah, they make it. No, you can't. Animals are not made for that. Honestly, it doesn't really doesn't sit well with me now at all. Like I say, obviously, when you're youngsters, we used to love to go to the zoo, and it was something to see different animals. But another large, yeah, yeah. I mean, for example, like an elephant, you can't keep an elephant penned up. For goodness sake, not a huge thing like that. No, no, not any of those type of animals at all. It's I don't know. I don't know. No, it just doesn't sit well with me. The no, they shouldn't. No, they shouldn't be locked up. And also, I give no apology to anybody that likes it, but I think hunting them as well for their skins and whatever else they've got that people might think is worth some money. I think that is the most abhorrent thing. Again, I was watching a program last night on the television. It's called Nothing to Declare, and it's about the Australian what's it when you go through the airport, the security at the airport, and how obviously they have sniffer dogs to sniff out people's luggage while they're waiting in line to get through, and they also, if they think somebody looks a bit suspicious, they will take them to the side, won't they? And they'll open all their cases and that. And one chap, now I can't remember where he said he'd been, but it was a boar skin, like one of them big wild pigs, and he had the skin, and he was so dead pleased with the skin, and he said he brought it in as a present for his mother, and I'm just looking at it horrified, and I'm thinking, what you're going to do? What do they do with them? Hang them on the wall, put them on the floor. Do you want to see? I wouldn't want to see that in my house and walk by it every day and think that that once was something that was running around and had been just killed for its skin. Mm. I mean, yeah. See, that's another thing. When I was younger, Another thing we thought was great. Um, After church every Sunday morning, we had church from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, and we used to go up the road a little while, only a yard or two up the road, because the hunt was always on. And of course, being out in the countryside like we were, the hunt was a thing then. And we used to go up. Just outside, there was a public house, and they always would have a drink of whatever they drank before they went hunting off. And they would be all there in a group with their hound dogs. Mm. They were hunting foxes, Wales. Again, it absolutely beats me. I cannot get my head around the fact that they think that chasing a fox until it's half dead on its feet and then letting the dogs go into it and tear it to bits. I cannot, for the life of me, think, how can they think that is sport? That is absolutely atrocious. Well, to be quite honest, for Wills, what they used to do, I think they used to get the fox's tail, but the rest of it, the dogs would tear to pieces and probably eat. You know, it's just thinking about it. And they used to do hare hunting as well. You know, hares. Yes, they do, but is it not better for for the farmers to go out themselves? They can catch the foxes because the foxes will go to the farms where, particularly where there's chicken. And if you've got a chicken farm, then you would protect that farm against foxes. You can put electrified fences around it or something, and you don't hear make a pen for livestock. To be quite honest, you don't hear much about foxes being a problem to any of the farms. Again, perhaps because I live here now and not down in the country like I did, maybe that sort of news doesn't reach up as far as the towns anymore. But when I think about it, I cannot really think any of the farmers, because there was a lot of farmers around where I was. I cannot think that any of them were complaining about foxes, but it was known that they will get into the livestock if they can. And then the farmers, I mean, you know, they would shoot them if they caught them, they would shoot them. But it's the same as if somebody's got a dog and they let their dog run wild across the fields and it ends up killing a few sheep, which that happens a lot. Again, haven't heard of anything for some time now. Then the farmer is well within his rights to shoot the person's dog. Yeah, yeah. People process them and use them for food. Right. Yeah, this is part of the USP. The US do, don't they? I know you hunt deer, and I mean I've seen lots of films and pictures and that of people going out and shooting and bringing a deer back on the. Do you put it on the front of your truck, on the bonnet of your truck, and you ride back home with it? Yeah, and wild turkeys. Yeah, but they did stop the fox hunting here in this country. They're not allowed to do it anymore. And I'm not quite sure about the hare hunting, because a hare is a rabbit, but it's a bigger than a rabbit, but the same species. And they were going hare hunting, and I'm not sure if they're allowed to do that anymore. So they don't gather around like they used to when I was a youngster. Yeah. Well, this is it, isn't it? But when we lived in the house before we came here, there were times in the night, just as I am now, where I wouldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep much, or I'd sleep for an hour or two and then I'd get up. And our main bedroom looked out on the front. We were in like a cul-de-sac of houses. There was 1, 2, 3, there was 4 houses opposite us, a couple at the top, and then there was 1, 2, and our house on the corner. So it was just like around in a circle. And then Monday nights, everybody would put their rubbish bins out for the rubbish men to collect in the morning. And also then we didn't have the wheelie bins and the recycling boxes and that like we do now. So people would just put their rubbish bin out, which was usually a galvanized bin with a top on it. And you would just put all your rubbish and everything in there. There was no separating food from paper and stuff like that like we do now. And I can remember many times I would be looking out of our bedroom window in the early hours of the morning, and because it was that time of night, everything echoes, and you could hear all this crunching and munching going on, and it was usually come from the top end. When people put chicken bones out, the foxes would come and they'd upend the bin and they would find out the chicken bones, and then they'd be standing up in the top of the cul-de-sac crunching on these bones, and you could hear it. It would echo all around. And then one night when I was looking out, we could hear really heavy footsteps coming down the road. But for a while I couldn't see anything. And as it came nearer to our front driveway, it was a badger. Then I could see the black and white stripes. They are so heavy-footed. It's absolutely incredible, the sound of a badger walking. And it just came down along the front. It came down our driveway and it went across our front lawn. And because we were a house that was on the end, we were separate, and we had all around the house was lawn in that. And he would come down and he went, and then you go, where he was going, I've no idea. But he seemed to like to come down our driveway and across our front lawn. And that was, people, like they say, the animals were moving into populated areas, because where these estates and all these houses were being built on greenfield land and that, they were chasing the animals away from their natural habitat and pushing them into the town to look for food and things to eat. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, see, we've got deer here, Wills, but they're only in, and they don't seem to wander, I don't think. They seem to stay together, and they're usually in sort of like pasture lands and possibly edging woodland and that. And they're also usually belong to an estate belonging to somebody. But I don't think I've ever heard of anybody going deer hunting here, because like I say, I think most of them, because they're on an estate's property, they are classed as belonging to the owner. But yeah, like I say, I think they have stopped a lot of it now. Going back to the hunting side of it, I don't know again if they still do it. What they did for a while after that was they would get a a fox fur or a rabbit fur or something like that, and they would trail it along so that the dogs picked up the scent of this, and they would sort of trail it along all around the countryside, across a couple of fields, through a couple of hedges, and all back around the lanes and that. And the dogs would chase it, and then all these people on horses would go running after it as well. And that was the way that they started to do their hunting. And as far as I know, nothing has really changed. But because people were beginning to get really, really cross, and then we were getting demonstrations, and these people on the horses, they were getting attacked. These protesters of hunting would get quite physical with them sometimes, and obviously the people, they not only did they not want to get hurt, but they didn't want their horses to get hurt either. So I think in the end, a lot of that made this ban on hunting happen here. Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. But no, I don't like going back to animal skins and that. When my dad's two sisters were alive, my two aunts, one of them was married for a while, and her husband, he was quite an up and coming builder. He had quite a large building firm up in London, and he always liked the best, and they always went out to the best places. And he bought her a fur coat. He bought my aunt a fur coat. You see, now then, in those days, you were allowed a fur coat. So frowned on nowadays. And then much later, the other aunt, my sister, after my first aunt's marriage broke up, they lived together. They went and lived together, and in the end, the other one, she got a fur coat as well. So they both go down like a pair of old dears down the town, down to the local hostelry. They wouldn't go to a normal pub. Oh no, it had to be a hotel or something like that. And they would go in the lounge bar, and they would sit there with their drinks, and dressed up in their fur coats. Well, surprise, surprise, when they both passed away, I don't think one was very much longer. I'm not quite sure the years between one passing and the other, but I don't think it was very much. Anyway, when whoever it was came to clear out their flat, my brother, he was one of the ones that went to clear out the flat, and he came to me, or he got in touch with me, and he said, well, they haven't left much, which I knew that they had, but they've left you this. And guess what? I got both of their fur coats, and they're absolutely useless. The best thing for them now is to be thrown on the fire, because you can't have a fur coat nowadays like that. I mean, they were something like, I don't know, they were mink or something like that. Yeah, and that was my legacy for my two aunts. Oh, what a story we could tell. But I won't. we won't go into that, I don't think. Yeah. But again, that was an example of when they both had gone and their flat was empty. They were basically looted. There was a couple of people because they were in. Uh, I got to run again, granny. Oh gosh, Wills. Yes, you have to go. You busy. I hope you're feeling better. Go on, dose yourself up with some brandy or some whiskey or something, whatever they take for colds. But you take care. Yeah. So, um, what else? Actually, so what I was talking about with Carl, how are we for time? What I was, don't know if this would be of interest to you, but what I was talking, Carl, when he was here yesterday, I don't know how it came. We were talking about places we've been in and stuff. Started off talking about holidays, and I said to him the best holidays we ever had when um, our two youngsters, well, they were sort of teenagers then. We'd go to Stratford on Avon, and we would hire a barge, and we would go on the canal, and we would take this barge up and down the canal. And if you want a peaceful holiday, that's one of the best things you can do. And I was explaining this to Carl yesterday, and I said, it is incredible that we had 2 weeks on the barge, and then we would obviously have to come back home. As soon as you got off the barge, got back to the office, picked up your car at the car park, it felt like you were in mayhem. The noise of the traffic and the noise of everything else. When you'd been 2 weeks somewhere where there was not a sound, perhaps a bird twittering away in a tree, or perhaps a cow mooing in the far field, but it was only trees and hedgerows and countryside that you would see going along on the canals. And it was absolutely incredible how you can get used to having such a peaceful time, and then it hits you like a brick when you go back into, well, what the life that you'd sort of come away from for 2 weeks. And I was sort of saying to Karen about that, and then it led me on to remembering the two aunts I was talking about. At some point, they lived in a flat up in London, and it was sort of like, it wasn't a great big tall tower block flat like you get nowadays, but it was probably about 6 stories high, something like that. Well, they were on the ground floor, and it was right next to the road, or fairly close to the road. They had their frontage where they could walk out into the pavement. And then, of course, being London, there's traffic going up and down all the time. And I can remember the first night, well, I think most of the nights I probably stayed with them. I might have stayed a week. I don't know, much longer than that. And I'm not quite sure how old I was, but I wasn't that old. We were probably still living down in the country area, so I was probably only about 9 or 10. And I remember going to bed that night in their flat, and all of their flat windows, they faced towards the front, out onto the roadway. And I remember lying in bed and listening to cars going up and down the road, and I just couldn't get over it because I wasn't used to it. Where we were, you didn't hear a thing down there, not in the country. And I can remember thinking, oh my goodness, how can people live up here with all this noise going on? How can people sleep? And it was a real experience for me, that. Incredible. It's funny, isn't it, how some little things stay in your mind? and little things you remember. And there you go. Big city. Yeah, noisy and chaotic, Mario. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, incredibly, you see, when I got older and where we were living, it was too much of a little town. It's a little town that Will's, he's looked it up on Google, I think. When I told him the name of it, he says it's a Harry Potter town because it is very old. It's 13th century place, so it's very old. But there was not much there at all, especially for teenagers. But by the time, it's like Hogwarts. Yeah. When I was 21, so I was past a teenager. So I stuck it out living there until I was 21. And then I just decided one day I up and left. Went to London. And I chose London because my aunts were living there. And I thought, oh, well, I'll go up by them. And I soon got used to the noise and, tube trains, buses. Everything was always so packed out. And of course, I went up there and I ended up working in Piccadilly Circus in a restaurant up there. And that was busy. A lot of tourists, especially American tourists. We had so many Americans come in. And yeah, that was quite an experience for somebody that come from a country town. It was very opened my eyes to a lot of things. I always say I didn't realize until I went to a place like that at 21 years old, I was quite naive about things. But it was an experience, and it was a good. It was good up there. It was really nice up there. And then, because I met my husband, and we sort of stayed up there for a bit, and then we came down here for a bit, and then we decided no, so we went back up to London again, and we were backwards and forwards for a couple of times. But then, for some reason, suddenly decided to stay down here, which I think was probably a good thing, because I don't know. I'm not sure I'd like London that much now. Maybe, possibly just because of my age. It's probably more for people that are not quite the age I am. But there you go. So, yeah, well, we're not too far from the sea, Mario. Sometimes in the summer, back in the summer, when my husband, because we don't go out very much, he will, of a Sunday afternoon, if the weather is really, really nice, he will take the car out and give it a bit of a run. Otherwise, it's just parked up. And it needs using from time to time to keep it up and running properly. So he'll very often end up down at the seaside. He usually goes with his mate, and they go off down, because there's quite a few seaside places not far from here. I reckon probably about less than half an hour's car ride. And we always used to take the kiddies there when they were little. Down every Sunday, we'd be down at the seaside, one place or another place. And yeah, like I say, my husband, he will go down most times that he can. Oh, I'm just better sitting at home. I like the peace and quiet. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I suppose there's a lot of countryside as well around Mario, where our seaside places are. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just the as you go up into the middle and the north of Britain that you get. Oh, yes. Do you know what? The best time of the day, and this came into my mind last night, was when my husband goes to bed and I can just be here on my own. No television on, no chatting on. I usually put something on, either the computer or the television. I've usually got a fair few things lined up to watch because I sometimes, oh yeah, that was part of the reason I think I couldn't sleep last night, because I was binge watching. I quite like some of the foreign style crime series, police, Norway and Sweden and Finland, all around that area. They do some fairly good police dramas, and I got hooked up on one of those last night. And it's probably why I couldn't sleep, because I was watching, it was quite hectic at times, this thing. And it probably, I shouldn't have been watching anything quite like that. But that's what we do. But that is the best time of day, when my husband's gone to bed, regardless how early or late in the evening it is. He usually sort of looks about going to bed round about 10:30, 11 o'clock, which I think he did last night. That again reminds me of my dad. My dad, even when he was retired and didn't have to get up to work anymore, he went to bed every day at 10:30. He would listen to the 10 o'clock news. That would go for half an hour. As soon as the news was finished, he was off upstairs to bed. And he still would get up at the same time every morning, 7 o'clock. As I say, even when he was retired, he still kept that same. And even so, when my mum passed away, all he kept saying to me all the time was, I've got to keep in the same routine. I must keep doing the same routine. And that sort of got him through. And yeah, he was very much a man of routine when I think about it. But he'd never go to bed any later than 10:30. So I don't know where I get this staying up from, because I can't think there's anybody in our family. I mean, my mum used to go to bed quite early, probably same time as my dad. So I don't know. I don't know where I get my thing from. But I quite like the late nights and the peace and quiet. Yeah. So, oh gosh, it was his routine. Yeah, because my dad, he worked from a very young age. He was never out of work, my dad. He was a worker. Yeah. And he even carried on working after retirement age. I think he worked an extra 5 years. So, but then, see, my husband, I mean, he should have retired at least 10, 15 years ago. But he wouldn't know what to do with himself. He keeps saying that, Even if he opens up the shop and nobody comes, he's still doing something. He's got no hobbies or anything else, my husband. Some people haven't, I suppose. Whereas I can always, I think it's the way you were, how you were how things were when you were younger. I can always find something to amuse myself or something to do. Yeah. So, well, looks like on the television here we've got a bit of a debate going on. Warned Boris Waymaker could cost tax return. Yeah. Everything seems to be up in the air. Not good. There we go. So, maybe, who knows what may happen? Hey. So that's that, isn't it? So, what else can we do? Sorry, I keep putting my head down. I'm going away for. Let's put that away. Going away from things. There we go. Let's put it. Yeah. Do you want some more poems? Let me look at my book. This is the. I've read. I think I've read this before. Got to read it again. Just because it's come into my hand. Oh, stop it, book. I have no idea. I didn't give this any title. So, give me a line, give me a rhyme, give me a short minute of your time. Show me your smile, show me your style, show me how you can luringly beguile. Talk to me slowly, explain what you are. Tell me that you can do wish on a star. Have you the peace in your heart and your mind? Have you the hope for all mankind? Tell me we will find how we can live, how we can show each other goodness and love. I will stay by you, will never deny you. Place my heart with your heart, never decry you. Give me your hand, show me how to stand right by your side with no demand. We can move mountains if we stand strong, encircle all people, fill all hearts with song. Make me a wish that I know will come true. Make me believe in the hope that is you. Like Pandora's box, keep the most precious thing, hope in mankind and hope in all things. Now, I think I've read that before. We will go. Oh, come on, open up there. Yeah. I'm not sure if I read that. I think I did. Yeah. Haunted House, I think I've read that. About the Storm, I've read that. Oh, I will read you this one. This is what I wrote about when my brother died. As time goes on, we lose the ones we've known throughout the years. Fathers, mothers, wives, and husbands, the ones who stayed our fears. They've always been a part of us, always there with a helping hand. Wise and true, we look up to you, as tall and proud you stand. Time moves on, as we all know. We cannot stop you going, but we can keep you with us in our hearts, and minds are flowing, like rivers running through our minds, always there beside us, a soul of shining brightness to keep us safe and guide us. All we can do is say goodbye to your earthly presence here. In our solitude, have a quiet word that only you can hear. Perhaps you are that shining star twinkling down on us at night, or maybe that warm and gentle breeze brushing by us, quick and light. So we can only stand and watch as you go on your way, each one of us with our special thoughts of you upon this day, a legacy you've left behind, a family strong and true, and a myriad of people who will never forget you. I wrote that after my brother's funeral. Maybe I haven't read this one. This is just a bit of a fancy one, a fairy tale one. We think there's a witch living in the woods, some fairies, an elf, and a gnome. It's a special place, enchanted and mystic, so we are sure that it is their home. The trees are all shooting leaves of bright green, giving shade from the hot summer sun. There are lots of cool places for fairies to sit, and one day we thought we saw one. My brother said he'd seen a witch there. He peeked very quickly one day, thought it was just like the one in his storybook, but he got frightened and ran away. There's an open green space just past the oak tree with some toadstools all in a ring, and on Midsummer Eve, if you go there, you'll see elves come to dance and sing. A funny brown patch in a hillock looks just like someone's front door. We think that a gnome might live there, as it looks like a gnome's house for sure. We're always quiet and respectful, as if it was our own homes. It's not nice to scamper and trample through what belongs to elves, fairies, and gnomes. So we agreed to keep this our secret. Meg, Mary, Charlie, and I, all in the summer, we'd visit there, and that's how the holidays went by. A group of little kids in the woods. Yeah, I've read that one. That one. Kathmandu, I've read that one, yes. And that one. That's somebody dreaming. Oh, this is another one that is, and I think I've read that one, but I quite like this. Again, no, I can't read that. That's too dull. Doesn't put you in a very good frame of mind. Do you think it's do you really? Thank you, Mario. Yeah, they've all been read. That's about Hephaestus. Hephaestus, the fire god. That one I remember. Right, that's that book, and that's come to the end of it. And I did think, well, that's about a fairy. I read that. And I read that one. Harvest Mouse, I've read that. I think I've gone through most all of these. So there will be repeats. I don't know if I read this one. This again is a bit of a fantasy one. I must have been in a good mood when I wrote this. Have you ever felt, and I might also have read this before. Have you ever felt like doing something really great? Have you ever felt like flying to the moon? What if you jumped a mile high and came down at such a rate that the speed would send you whirling, making you gyrate? What if you were given special magic powers, the sort that set your fingers all alight? You could zip and zap and crackle, making sparks. Oh, what a sight! Amuse yourself with that for hours and hours. What if you could build a tower reaching far into the sky, cutting through the clouds and on and on? Then you could put a ladder up and climb it way up high. Carry on forever until you're gone. Fantasy, oh fantasy, can your mind so crazily think of these silly harebrained things to do? Moonwalking or zip-zapping, climbing to infinity, or feet firmly on the ground. It's up to you. There you go. I've read that one, the nonsense one. I think I read this one. I read about the teacher. I read about the bullies. Maybe I'll read this one because it's sort of like on the same thing. I can hear rain on my window pane. It's a wet night out tonight. So I'll stay here in this comfy chair and doze in the warm firelight, floating away to a far-off place where the sun is warm and touches your face with fingers of gold and breath of yellow, making your body melt and mellow, where the air is filled with far-off cries of ice cream vendors passing by, the tangy taste of salt and sea, and children's voices in rhapsody, where blue sea water laps the shore, inviting you to come explore the coolness with your toes and hands, leaving damp footprints on the sands. Blue sky above, no cloud in sight, black sky with stars that glisten bright, and show this place in surreal light. With no warm sun, the air grows cold, and at its loss, paradise grows old. Then with a shudder and a shake, the mood is gone, and I'm awake. Oh, you're too kind, but yeah. Cat and the Mouse. Did I read you about the Cat and the Mouse? I may not have done. Well, I did wonder, Mario, perhaps if I'm reading a bit too quickly, or your translation is a bit of a bother for it. I'll read you this one, and I've titled it "Cat, Mouse, and Bird." Little mouse, I see you peeping through the hedge, your nose and whiskers sniffing danger out. There's a blackbird up above you on the window ledge, looking with a beady eye to see what is about. I think you will not come across to take this piece of cheese, as you are much too timid and too clever. The cat has just come up the path. He has much expertise at catching mice like you, is his endeavour. Always on the lookout for titbits large or small. A little mite like you he catch with ease. He's usually up the tree or on the garden wall, or creeping through the cabbages and peas. Ah, there the mouse has seen you, cat. He's gone off in a flash, not waiting for you to pounce on him, I'm sure. Forget it, even if you'd made a frantic dash. There's no mouse for you to catch no more. Well, cat, you missed a morsel there. But hey, what's this you're thinking? You seen the bird perched unaware above, his dark eye blinking. Now look, he's gone and flown away. Cat flicks his tail and sits. Can't win 'em all, is what they say. This morning, no tidbits. The cat couldn't get the mouse and it couldn't get the bird either. There you are. So, I don't think I read you this one, but it's coming away from the airy fairy things I've been reading. And again, maybe I have. There's a man lying ill in a hospital bed, all because he came to the aid of a man in the street being kicked in the head by the local yob brigade. What would you do if you saw an assault being done to an innocent man? Should you turn a blind eye, say it's his fault, or would you do all that you can? Hindu or Christian, Muslim or Sikh, whatever religion you are, it shouldn't matter when you walk down the street or bring anger to your door. United Kingdom, proud and free. United in what, you say? Our island is one piece of land in the sea, but all people united? No way. More and more we hear of beatings and such. Every day it happens with ease. The intolerant ones wanting to push things as far as they please. Cowards the lot. They won't work on their own. They couldn't go one-on-one. Wouldn't stand a chance if left alone. They'd be the first to run. So the Yob Brigade think they're the law, ready to shout and accuse, and harass anyone they'd never ignore. They're happiest when they abuse. If any brave citizen comes to the aid and tries to even the score, the going gets tough, decisions are made, violence erupts worse than before. Thus it ends with this person, battered and bruised, left with scars to show what he's done, trying to tell anyone else who feels bemused why he didn't run. We will be a united country, no doubt, if we can promote harmony, help the others who are being bullied about, then we all can live happy and free. Again, this is one that was written nearly 10 years ago, and what you hear on the news today, things haven't changed. Yeah. It's about seasons. Here's a very quick one called Reflections. Round silver moon in a dark sky, reflecting in the water black and still. Moon looking down like a cyclops eye into this seemingly endless rill. No star to be seen, just the lonesome moon. No breath of wind to move the water. The splash of a stone will remove the silver shoon, rippling the stillness like midnight's laughter. That's just a little one. So, yeah. Xmas visits. I've read you that. You know, I reckon I've read you all. Only this one I haven't read you, and I don't know whether to or not. I quite like this one. Yeah, that was what that gentleman I showed didn't like. It was probably all too true. Haunted house, ghosts. I did quite a bit about ghosts and the weather. Look, it's snowing, flakes so white, giving the world a luminescent light. See how quickly it covers the land. Pick it up and it melts away in your hand. I sit at the window, watch the changing scene, see the hedgerows go too white from green, look up across the way to the top of the hill, at the landscape turning cold and still. Farmers have put their cows in the barn, bedded down their livestock safe and warm. Fields all silent under a blanket of snow, children skidding down the lane, faces aglow. Hold out your hand, catch a snowflake there. Not one the same, there's never a pair. A little lace doily of frozen ice, so fragile and delicate, with a form so precise. Falling ever faster, it's getting hard to see, more than an inch in front of you, invisibility. Gone the view of the top of the hill, just a soft blinding whiteness and a wintry chill. There you are. That's what it's like when it snows. Right. I suppose, but you wouldn't think I ended it. I reckon we've done the lot. I've got to get my brain in gear. I've got loads of bits of paper here on the table where I've started off things and nothing just doesn't seem to come together. The only thing that happened was, like I said last night, led there in bed not sleeping, and all of a sudden all these words come into my head, and the next thing I'm up 4 o'clock this morning putting it all down on the computer. I really do think, like I say, a lot of these, for some reason, I've doubled them up. There's the grandson one again. I quite like that one, like about the grandson. Yes, these are all, gosh, half of this is all the same thing, all replicated. Yeah, everything I'm looking at is well, I don't know what we're going to do if we haven't got. Oh, Dan, I was early today, Dan, because I had a real old muck up on my stream, and I just couldn't get it going as it should go. My computer didn't want to play ball, and in the end I gave up trying to make it do what I wanted to do, so I came on here instead. And we've just been looking through the pile of poetry, and I think I've more or less read it all. And the only thing I can do is, do repeats. And with a nice rhyme there. So, I mean, really, Dan, it's come down to just talking and chatting about various things. And I will say to anyone, if you want to talk about anything in particular, just give us a nudge and we can see what we can dredge up out of our heads. Yeah. I am okay, Dan, apart from the fact that I was getting on so well at the weekend on Saturday, streaming the Dark Souls 3 game. And Sunday, I'd had the console on, and I got fed up. Well, didn't get fed up, but I had to stop playing because I had to get ready because we always go out to lunch on Sundays. So I stopped playing. Right, a very beautiful poem that's been. You're too good to me, Mario. Yeah, you take care too, Mario. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow somehow or the other, I hope. Yes, Dan. So I was busy getting ready. I'd turned the console off. But sometimes, if I don't take the plug out, it starts up on its own again. Well, I'd turned the console off and I'd left the plug in, and I had something else going on the television. I think I was watching the news or something while I was getting ready to go out. And then I always look around afterwards, and if there's any plugs that are plugged in that I think aren't needed if I'm not here, I take them out. So I saw the console plug was still in the socket, so I pulled it out, not knowing at the time that while I'd been watching the other stuff on the television, running behind that, the console had turned itself on again, and it was running. So when I came to come back later yesterday after we'd been out, I picked it up to carry on and sort of have a look at one or two other little things, a couple of other little games I was playing. And I'd lost everything. There wasn't a thing on the console at all. It was empty. So I assumed it was because I pulled the plug on it. It sort of had a hissy fit at me. So I was then trying to get it all back in. And I was looking on various places and things on the computer to see what to do. And I've got stuff in the console, and I've got stuff on and the extended USB as well, storage thing. And it did say to me that if I had the Premium Plus PlayStation subscription, it would have gone on iCloud and it would all come back through again. Well, I can't believe it. I found everything and got everything back except the Dark Souls 3 game that I had been streaming and I was getting on so well with. I lost that and I can't find it anywhere at all. Everything else came back, even games that I'd been playing 4 or 5 years ago, games that I didn't even have anymore. So basically, the one thing that I did want it's just not coming back at all. So today on the stream, I'm started again with a new character. I started him up a little bit last night, and I carried on with that this morning until the computer. I think if I haven't got it running on the computer, it might be running on the television, and I might be sort of online and on YouTube, but it's maybe not being seen or it's not coming through to people. I don't know. I might be wrong, but that's why I like it on the computer, so I can see it's very clear, all the comments and all the chat and everything. Otherwise, I can't see anything, no chat or anything on the TV if the computer's not showing it. If the computer's showing it, then it's the two things together. That's fine. But for some reason, I'm playing along there, and all of a sudden I looked over to the computer and it's all gone. There's some political chappie shouting about something. And I'm thinking, well, where's all my stuff gone there? And I couldn't get that back. So I decided to come here early. So I've been here much earlier than normal. But that was a bit of a nuisance because again, the stream was going quite well, and I had that really, really so helpful dark arm. She had stocked me up again with, armor and weapons and other items to get me through. And I was having the thought that, we're going to get a fair way through this today, and then it's just all come crashing down again. I don't know why the computer's playing up. And I was just saying earlier on, I'm wondering whether to get a laptop or not and just do the streaming with the laptop and leave the computer alone. I'm wondering if the computer's getting a little bit full up, because it was getting a bit laggy last night when I was doing something. But I might look into, though it's the wrong time to do it, I might look into sort of getting a laptop. But I expect, like everything else, they're priced now. Oh dear. So things could be better, Dan. But it's no good to sit here and wring your hands about it. Do you not know? No. I don't. It was just a thought. I thought, well, and just sort of, keep the laptop to do together with any streaming that I do. I don't know why sometimes this blinking computer, it's like everything. If it gets of a mind to do something on its own, you can't seem to stop it doing it. All of this stuff is really good when it's going. My PC is not that old. Because my other PC, that completely went belly up on me. I think I've probably had this one. Bear with me. I think I might be able to tell you on my phone because just bear with me. That's quite an interesting question, actually. How long have I had it? Come on. Once again, I want to find my notes. Oh, I can't find notes. No, dear, I'm sure it's not that. I can't even bloomin'. There we go, notes. Right. So let's go back. And I reckon, iMac 2025 chip, Apple. Now, why have I? Well, the warranty for it, I've had it longer than that, surely. The warranty on it expires a couple of days after Christmas. So that means I've not had it much more than a year. I thought I'd had it longer than that. Let's see if I can find anything else.
I'm going to change a bit. I have
What's that?
So I think we're going to try and screw the sign a bit. See if we.
Oh yeah, you need to do something like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
I'm going to change a bit.
Yeah, that's okay. 6th of the 1st, 2025. I must have had it only just about a year. Not even a year, is it? Not till just after Christmas. I really thought I'd had it longer than that. So no, it's not that old. It is fairly new. Yeah. Yeah. I would like to get my other one looked at. I don't know why it's doing it. Well, maybe I've got a load of rubbish on here that needs to be cleared out a bit. I might have to go through it and see what I can get rid of. because it shouldn't. I mean, it shouldn't be. Let's. Oh no, I've lost it again. I'm going to say let's. I put some fairly. Come on, where are you? Do, 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 do. Ba, 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 ba. Why is it not showing on? There we go. So let's have another. Right, all I've got here is iMac 2025, chip Apple M4, memory 16 gigs, startup disk Macintosh HD serial number, and at the time the Mac OS was Sequoia 15.2. Means absolutely nothing to me at all. Maybe I need to clear it out a bit. I'm not sure that I have done it that much lately. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I always used to have Windows computers, and then I don't know why, sometime back, I changed to the Mac, to the Apple. And they're okay, actually. I got really, really used to this one. And then when my other one broke down and didn't want to do anything anymore, I've got a Windows computer back in the bedroom there, packed away on the shelf. So I opened that up while I was waiting to get this new one, and honestly, I couldn't get on with it at all. Yeah. Oh God, I used to get, it was always Windows. I always ever used Windows. And I must admit, the iMac I find okay, but it's so not compatible. You know, like I used to play loads of games and that on the Windows one, and then I come to this one, and it doesn't like playing a lot of the games that I used to play at all. It's getting a bit better than what it was. I don't know whether they've sort of come to the realization that people like to play games on the PC. But when I think what I used to play to what I play now, and a lot of the things that does come up, when you go into it, I think to myself sometimes, oh, that looks okay, that looks interesting, I'll play that for a bit. And when I go into it, it's iPhone or iPad, but not computer. So there you go. So, oh gosh, I can't believe it's nearly tea time. I've been here nearly 2 hours chatting, have I? 1:33, 1.5 hours, yeah. Yes, Dan, yeah. Yeah, it's not worth it now. I'll have a look and see. It may be stuffed up with a load of rubbish, and I could get rid of some of it. Oh God, yeah. Oh. But it's done this to me. It hasn't cut off from stream before, but what it has done, you have good news. Oh, have you? Oh, let's hear some good news. That would be so nice. Really. You got disappeared. Whoa. Is it a 5? That is really good. You got some good friends there. Hey. Yeah. what they say. Way to go. That is really nice. That's great. Yeah. Well, it took me a little while to get used to the PS5 because I was such a great fan of the PS4. And I really didn't like the PS5 for some time, but obviously over time I've got into it. But what does annoy me is what it did when I switch it off. It should stay off. Why it decides to turn itself back on again, I've no idea. I have to remember I need to remove the plug out of the socket every time, otherwise it'll keep doing that. But yeah, I'm more used to it now. I'm having a thought as well whether to get the PS4 back down off the shelf up there and plug that in and see what the situation is with any saved games from Dark Souls 3 that I've got on there. And then I could sort of go to streaming that on the 4 instead of the 5. Yeah, I've had it more than a year though, and it didn't used to do it before. So I don't know. And I can't understand why it got back all my old games out of the storage that's there, put them all back into the computer, except the Dark Souls 3 that I was streaming. The most important one is just not there. I just don't understand why it's not come through on that. When I looked at the stuff that I have got on there, games that I haven't played back 4 or 5 years ago. I did think of changing it up the other day to the, I know, not the newer one, the smaller one. They did the PS5 smaller version, didn't they? It's not that much smaller, but I did think about getting that, and just for the fact that if it's a little bit smaller, because I haven't got a great deal of room around here, it might have helped a little bit. Do you know, I don't know how long I've had it, Dan, but I've had it more than a year. Yeah. I might do that. I might clear it out and take it somewhere and exchange it in for the smaller version. I don't know yet. I think there's loads of stuff in that I can clear out. A lot of the games that came up, I'm thinking, well, I haven't even got them anymore. I can delete a load of stuff off of it. And the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking it might be a good idea for me to get my PS4 out again, just to see what's in that. And perhaps clean out the computer. So I've got a few little bits and pieces to do here, haven't I? Which I will have to, excuse me. I will have to sort out. I think I'd better sort of go now. Let's see, my husband's, he's finished, but he's had to go down and do a job. Our shop sign doesn't sound like it's very secure. So him and his mate have got to do something. You've got to be so careful. It's only got to come down on somebody's head and that'd be it, wouldn't it? Ouch. So I think that's it. There we go. Yeah, I think it's time to call it a day. Hey, Dan, thanks very much for coming along. And I'll get on with one or two of these hopefully little jobs. They're not going to turn into anything much bigger. And these little jobs, and see if I might have a go at the computer first and see if that needs some clearing out. Yeah, we will do. Pink hands. Not very pink now, are they? Ooh. Anyway, thank you, Dan. And everybody else. Let's now go and see what we can do. Hey, you take care. And until the next time. Hey.